Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to another Naturist resort session.
Yeah.
We are Nick and Linz, your hosts for today and for the next sessions. And we are glad that we have great guests once again. But before we start, we have to do some housekeeping.
Yes, indeed. Here we go.
It's important to know that this event will be recorded. It's even more important to know that you will not be in the recording. Only the people who speak will be in the recording and will be published on YouTube. You will obviously have lots and lots of questions. You can ask the questions in the chat. If you go down with your mouse to the bottom of the screen, there's a chat button. You can ask your questions in the chat and we will answer them at the end of the session in a Q&A show. Of course, hate speech and indecent behavior is not tolerated. And also very important to mention is that we put a lot of effort in these shows, in these Naturist resort sessions and in everything else that we do. And that you can support us. You can do so via Patreon. You can see the link on the right side of your screen. That's patreon.com/nakedwanderings.
Or you can use the Scan Me option.
It means a lot. It's thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon that we can do these things. So it really means a lot. And also important for those of you who are watching this, the replay of this show on YouTube, please press the subscribe button, because then you don't miss anything of what we publish in the future.
It's gonna be fun.
And most of all, it's gonna be a fun event. Let's start.
Absolutely, let's start.
We are very happy to introduce our guests for today. Women and me from Lavinia Naturist Resort in Spain.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
This is so weird to talk with you on this way, because I think last month we were sitting together at Lavinia in the hot tub, and yeah, of course, because of COVID, we have to do it this way, but it's cool. It's nice.
Yeah, it's really lovely to see you again, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How are you doing?
We are really fine. Yes, we are fine.
You're not nervous, are you?
We are a bit excited.
Otherwise, we would say that you just have to picture everybody naked, but yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense, Nick.
So please tell us, Lavinia, what is Lavinia Naturist Resort?
Well, Lavinia Resort is a naturist resort with 5 villas. We live in the central villa, so we can surf and make the holiday of our guests as a complete experience. That's in a nutshell, because we can talk hours and hours and hours. One of the most important things of our concept is that the guests can choose their own balance between private time and social time. So they rent a villa and they choose the activities and the dinners and the services they want, totally free. Totally free, not all in money, but totally free in mind.
Custom made.
Custom made, personalized. Yeah. Yes, that's one of our mottos. Yeah. A personal environment and personal. How do you say that?
Personal touch.
Touch. That's yeah.
Was that something that was in your mind from the beginning when you wanted to open a resort, that it had to be personal?
Yes, that was very important, because we find it really important that people have a feeling like homecoming, and that they belong, that they are important for you, and that they can be themselves. And if it is not personal, they can just be like any number, like an anonymous hotel or something like that. And we really didn't want to offer that kind of holidays to our guests, because we are ourselves also kind of warm people who love to socialize and have a personal effect with people. So
this is something that we have learned everywhere around the world. If you make a resort as if it would be for yourself, it always works. Just you have to do something you like to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
and that's so. Oh, sorry.
No.
I just wanted to add that that's why our website as well is really like with a personal touch, because we find it really important that the people who are looking for such a kind of holiday, that they find the way to us. So most of all, we have happy clients. We don't like really that word, guests. Because they sometimes have the feeling that they already know us in advance before they even come here. So that's for us a really nice feeling and gives a lot of satisfaction as well.
And to add on that, I think your blog is a very added value, so that people get to know you better before they come to Lavinia. No, was that also the purpose, or what was the idea behind the blog that you started?
The main idea was that I always wrote, even when I was a child and a teenager, like a diary, and I could loosen every feeling. And sometimes I let people read it, and people said, "Oh, you have talent to write." And it came in my mind that I would like to write something, do something with it. And this was an ideal situation because a lot of people want to know how we are doing. So that's why I wrote in the meantime, in those 2 years, like 60 articles or so, both in Dutch and English. So it's really lovely to do it, and a lot of people like it seems. So
Story of our life.
Story of our life also is one of the articles that is well read.
The purpose of the blog is the same, is more or less the same purpose for reviews. We like the guests writing reviews. If it is bad, if it is good, it don't really matter. The purpose of a review is that the next guests or potential guests will find their home in our resort, or not that only the guests that feel like home after reading the review, that kind of guests come to our resort, and the others find their perfect holiday with another a colleague of us.
To everybody who is watching, the blog of Lavinia is definitely recommended. You get to know the face behind the resort, which is a bit similar to what we do here, but much more in detail. We will send the link via an email, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can just read it in the description of the video. The blog reads like a book. Do you have intentions to put it into a book? It's like
yes, really, Nick. If you could help me doing that, that is one of my biggest dreams to
really
propose that. Yeah, really. Yeah, I would really love to do that.
Yeah.
Lots of resort owners keep telling us, like, we could write a book, and we keep telling them, write the book.
Do it.
It's an adventure. It's an experience.
It is. Every day is different. Every day you know where you start, but you never know where you will end, and you even never know what the next minute after you rise up or come out of your bed will be. It's so, maybe that's typical for Spain as well, but it is complete different life kind. Eh?
Yeah, it's also the fact with the guests,
Mm-hmm.
no one equals to another. It's so exciting to talk to people that differs from others. You learn a lot, you hear a lot, you live a lot. You're involved with a lot. It's so funny. Yeah, we say working, but it don't feel like working in our resort. Although we work 16 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. And we are busy all the time, of course. That's typical with someone who has its own business.
Mhm.
If you can call it a business, but for us, it's a way of living. It's not like a business. It's a way of living.
Mhm. Because your life now is completely different, like working hours and waking up at a certain time and not knowing when you will be going to bed than in your previous life before you had Lavinia.
You can believe it or not, but I was really like a person who needed structure really hard. Nothing could go wrong or different, or I almost freaked out. So yeah, you can't imagine that. Even you say it. I 10 years ago I couldn't imagine that I would be sitting here with you. So that's kind of life.
You were full of structure, certainties.
Mm-hmm.
The life you live was, how do we say, a work, a job,
9 to 5.
a 9-to-5 job, a house, a car,
Traditional.
some kids, and once something happens in your life that you got another vision, and your life changed.
Yeah.
I think
For
the
me,
kids
it
are
has-
still there, right? You didn't change kids, right?
No,
That's still the same. That's still the same.
that's still the same,
Yeah.
luckily.
But it's interesting. We are now, you just mentioned that we are almost neighbors. And before we were also almost neighbors because you're all also from Belgium.
Yeah.
What did you make? Why did you make the move? Why did you come to Spain? And why did you open a naturist resort?
Mm-hmm.
Well, on me had a dream for a long time, 10, 20 years. And 5-6 years ago, I was falling in that dream too. You shared your dream, and with that sharing, the dream becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And there was a time you were some weeks at home. You looked in
On the internet.
for B&Bs, small hotels, houses, things that could make our dream come true.
Mhm.
And
And I contacted some
real estate.
real estate excuse me.
Yeah.
Real estate agents, and it became more and more concrete. Well, Wim was not really in.
I was still working.
Yeah.
So during the day, I had no dream. And in the evening, Annemie showed me some pictures, photos on the internet. It was,
Yeah.
And,
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
and,
but it was at that time never the intention to do a naturist thing.
Ah, no.
No, not at all.
What
We
did-
were only
why did you
naturist
change your
since
mind?
we were only naturist since 6-7 years ago when we started being naturist.
yeah. And we were looking to do a bed and breakfast or resort for clothed people. But when we did research on it, we said 100,000 accommodations, for instance, in Spain, for clothed people. Phew, how will we make that the difference?
Mhm.
Some days later, we had the idea, why don't we do it in naturism? Because we liked we liked living like a naturist. So we did some research, and research led us to there are very much opportunities.
Mhm.
So it was something we want really do, and it was economically in good circumstances. It was economically a good opportunity.
Mhm.
And why in Spain? We want live in a country that was well developed, with warm people, with a warm climate,
Mhm.
and we find all those things here.
Yeah.
I have.
So you were going from being naked among yourself to running a naturist resort and being naked full time with other people. How was that? How was that at the beginning?
A matter of fact, like you heard before, I was really structured and had my own principles. And I was really, really ashamed of my body and how I looked. So that was for me something like a thing I couldn't get over. And when I met Wim, I told him, would you like to go to a private sauna? Because that I liked, but not in public. Oh no. So we went some few times, and it began to become very, very expensive for only 3 hours. And when you have to relax in a sauna, like, oh, we still have like an hour. Go on, we have to go to the sauna. And it was not really that relaxing, and above that it was very expensive.
That's true. They're
So
very beautiful, but if you compare them with the public ones, they're very expensive.
That's why. And then Wim said, why don't we try a public one? I said, you are crazy. I never show myself naked in public, never. Please just try, and if you don't feel comfortable, we never go again. Think about the money. And that was a good argument for me at that time. So we went, and really, really bizarre, but in just 1 second, all my complexes, they fled away. It was really strange, because there I saw, okay, there's no perfect body around me, no one. So I felt more comfortable in my own body, and it was really spectacular. And then the next step was when we were walking down the beach in Holland. By coincidence, we passed to a naked beach. I didn't even know that it existed. And Wim said, oh, that would be nice. I would like to do that. Are you crazy?
Again?
Never again. And by coincidence, the next time we went to the beach, and it was hotter than we expected. Oh, I'm so hot. I want to take them out. But I have no bikinis. So what the fuck? Wim said, let's put them off, and the naturists in me and us were born. And it was such a relief and such a freedom and such a nice way of living. But in Belgium, we still had to be a bit cover up, because family didn't know, friends didn't know.
Mm-hmm. It's something that nature, like long-term naturists, tend to underestimate. Like when people ask us like, my first step, how do I take it? Sometimes it's so easy to say like, it's nothing. Just you go to a sauna, you go to a beach, you take off your clothes, and that's it. You're naked. But we know that's really it's much harder.
Absolutely,
And
it is a big deal. Your first.
It is a struggle inside also.
Yeah.
But the experience. Sorry.
So
the experience that we have, because we have some first time naked holiday not makers people who came on a holiday for the first time, and they also struggled with that kind of problem. And just by doing normal about it, they experience indeed a kind of relief that it can be normal. Mm-hmm. And we also see that we never even mention that the guests or other people are naked, never, because you only focus, and it might be like a cliche, but you only focus on the person in front of you, in who he is in person. And we feel that we have more important and valuable relationships with other people.
You answered my question before I could ask it. I was gonna ask how you deal with first time nature. Do you ask people if it's their first time? And do you take extra care of them, or do you, I don't know, hold their hands, or?
Hold. Yeah, I know.
You're not allowed to hold hands anymore now.
No.
The most first timers, they contacted us before they come to the resort. So you have already very much contact, sometimes by mail, but more by a phone call. So you can set them at a more comfortable on a telephone. So when they come here, they I won't say they have no shame. They will always have that first time feeling, but as a person, it feels like coming home, and we let them at
their own
time coming.
And also on our website we have like a page how our first experience was, so our story, and we see that people read that a lot of times, so they recognize that feeling, and they know it is normal. So I think that's kind of less difficult. It minus the step to jump into it, and it encourages them to take the first step, I think.
Mm-hmm. When people give advice to first timers, there are two different main advices. One is like, take it slow, just go to a beach and undress whenever you're ready. And the other one is just dive in. And you're going towards the dive in approach, because clothing is never really an option. You do allow cover up, right? But clothing is not really.
At Lavinia, at the resort.
Yeah.
That's right.
There are some exceptions. Like we also want to, so like in general, we are naked all the time, even for dinner, breakfast, everything. Mm-hmm. When people are not really comfortable, like for dinner, they can just take a towel or so, but we often see that it maybe cures the first time, but then they leave it out because it's so revealing that they can just be naked as they are. And some exceptions are like for medical reasons, or for teenagers who are in their puberty and have a bit of shame. So we don't force that, but in general, it is naked, and the really naturists who come here really like that kind of concept.
It's great that you're so clear about it. It's also on your website.
Yeah.
Because we have been in moments that we go to a dinner in the evening and we expect everybody to be naked and then everybody is clothed.
Yeah.
It's like
it's weird.
It's weird because if they would say, if they would tell us that it's normal to go clothed at a Naturist resort to dinner, okay, it's fine.
But then you know.
Yeah. I know. Nobody. It's always like the first day you never know. Like, should I go naked? Should I take it around? But it takes something because you never know.
Being clear in communication is very important. We choose a kind of holiday we want to give to our guests, and other people will find their way to other resorts.
But openness is really open. Being open, what you do and what people can expect is really important indeed.
Also, we had once the case that a couple came to visit here. They had a really other expectance. We talked about it, and we stopped the holiday. We returned the money that was not taken by their holiday, and we said it's better you go looking for another place to make your holiday. And communication was in that very important. It was a win-win.
Especially if you don't have a big hotel or a big campground, it's important that everybody is more or less on the same line.
Yeah.
It creates a balance. It creates an atmosphere that's otherwise disturbed. We talked about you talked about reviews before. If we turn the roles around, if you would review your guests, how would you describe your guests? The typical visitor to Lavinia Naturist Resort.
The typical visitor is a person who loves the peace and the quietness, who loves nature, not really like the go-to wool socks, or how do they call it, but people who are in really in life, also sometimes important managers or whatever, but over here it doesn't matter at all. People who are looking for relaxation because they are really busy in daily life. People who find it very attractive that they can choose to be in their private villa, or if they want to socialize, they can. And also they know that they can choose it themselves. Sometimes they start coming and they say, I want to be left alone, please. I have a lot on my mind. And then you see after a few days, they just join every social event that we offer. Yeah. So the most important thing is that people can be who they want to be. Yeah?
People can be
themselves.
Yeah. And that people feel like home, but without the problems.
Problems at home.
And geographically, I guess you get a lot of people from the Netherlands because you won a prize in the Netherlands?
Yeah,
It's,
that's
it's not
right.
It's something to be proud of.
it's something to be proud of. You were
Yeah.
open. How long were you? Like 1 year open? You won a prize.
Yeah.
Tell us
Not
something about
only
that.
1 year. We only run the business for about 6 months, one season, and the prize is the Blood Compass Award. It's the Naked Compass Award or Bear Compass Award. Maybe you can
From the Netherlands, eh?
from the Netherlands. Maybe you can explain.
It's based on the reviews of guests
Okay.
who went in the 180 accommodations known by the Holland Federation. So we thank our guests for the good reviews they written, and it was really a surprise, because in January we were called by the Holland Federation, and they asked if we could go and get the trophy at the
3 days later.
vacation
On the holiday
fair in Utrecht.
Yeah.
We were that really surprised that I directly said, yes, we come. We
And I,
will,
oh no, we can't.
The plan is
Yes, pressure.
and we felt so honored by our guests. It is a feeling that is indescribable.
Because it's yeah, a kind of greatness for what we offer them, and to only after 1 year, one season, it's really amazing that we won that. So we are really proud of that. That's correct.
And it motivates us to do even better, even more, because we know our guests really appreciate that. And we don't do it for the trophy, we do it for the holiday experience of the guests.
Yeah.
So now you get overrun by Dutch guests, or do you also get guests from other countries, Europe, around the world?
We even had guests, a couple from Canada. That's right, Canada.
Yeah.
They came here, and their one-way direction journey was about
38
hours in
to
total.
come here for a week.
Wow.
38 hours
Yeah, back.
back.
They just spent
Canada.
1 week. Yeah, it was amazing. Really, like how he arrived. That guy. We have a like how do you call it, a ramp to enter our resort, and we were having dinner at the time they arrived, and he was coming into the gate, and he went,
Lavinia, I made it.
I want to take my clothes off.
And like you said, it was amazing.
yeah.
He always used that word
Yeah.
also. He looked around and it was all amazing.
Yeah, really fun.
We're fun people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But most of our guests are indeed like Dutch and Belgian, but also like Bulgarian, Finland,
Iceland.
Iceland also.
Do Spanish people find the way to Lavinia?
The first season, they didn't find the way to our resort. We hadn't really a promotion in direction of the Spanish people. More or less, we are a bit forced by COVID for Spanish people, and that's better for Spanish to learn Spanish. But most of the Spanish people we met outdoors when we do groceries, when we do social activities outside.
And
I think Spanish people, like they tell ourselves, they are naturists, but most at home and most at the beach
with family.
with family, and no on holiday, not on other opportunities like Holland Naturist Zoo or Belgian Naturist Zoo do. When they have the opportunity to put clothes off.
It's really, it's not, it's allowed here to be naked everywhere in Spain. So we have a big domain of behind us, or behind the resort, like with mountains and nature. And people can walk there for hours and hours purely naked, and you hardly meet someone. So that's really, really special for us, and it's allowed. It's when the Guardia Civil sees you, you won't get any fee or nothing.
Yeah, there are 3 cases of Guardia Civil that tried to give a penalty to people, and 3 times the Spanish Federation did a case for the arbitrage or the court of Strasbourg, and or the case takes time, or the case is
won by the Naturist Federation.
The Spanish Federation is really known to be active, especially when it comes to nudity and nature. And it's like, a lot of people talk about, like in Spain, you can be naked everywhere. So especially in natural places like beaches, is it really true that you can go to whatever beach and get naked in the middle of people or anything?
In fact, you can, yes.
In fact, it's your right to do it. We see that there are few naturists on clothed beach when nudist beach is far away. We see also clothed people on nudist beaches. Most of the time it is in the holidays, July and August, because the textile beach is full. But everyone live and let live. There is no one who said, I don't want you on my beach because you are nude, or I don't want you on my beach because you are clothed.
It's common.
They are very tolerant.
Like even for people who come here for renovations or the garden or whatever, the first first time they come, we say, or deliverance, we have to mention that we are a naturist resort. Oh, we don't mind. So they are just used to it. It's really strange. Like in Belgium, I think people would say, "Oh no, find someone else."
I put it at the gate.
What we've noticed is that on the Spanish beaches, a lot of young people are going topless or are going naturists. And that was really something that surprised us. We heard about it, but the first time we went to Spain and we saw it on all the beaches, we were very surprised and positively surprised. So do you think that Spain is changing in that direction, that more younger people will join the naturist movement or associations or go to the beach or visit naturist resorts?
Yeah, we shortly, a few days ago, we felt interest from young people that want to visit our resort, and we do proposals, and we are open for the new generation.
They also have an organization, Nude organization for young people, especially for youngsters between minus
18 and
of 30 years. So, yeah.
So
we also allow children and young people to come over here because there are not a lot of resorts or accommodations who allow them. They are always like adults only. But we believe really strong that this is the future, that if you don't allow children or youngsters to come, you stop at some generation, and maybe it won't go on with naturism.
the adults only do that for the tranquility, but with us in our resort, the tranquility, even with kids, the tranquility is great, because our resort physically not allow, we have no
glidings in the
Slide.
sliders in the swimming pool.
So the couples who come with their children come for workshops, for playing games, and that are not the most noisy activities. And fun is not disturbing. It's yeah.
We also have the advantage that we have 2 swimming pools, one on down and one on the top. So if it would be a bit more noise, we could ask the people with children, for example, to use the down pool, for example. So that's really ideal for youngsters too.
Yeah.
We do get a message in the chat from Naturistes from Catalonia, who are very eager to come to you. They just
Hi, we would like to meet you.
So there are a lot of naturism in Spain is getting younger and younger, and like it's more families or couples, or is there something that stands out or?
The youngsters are in general. In general, it's most of them are couples. That's true. Yeah, but we also had some people who travel alone or with children, with young children, with teenagers. It's a mix of singles as well. Yeah.
Okay, so that is the facts, the things you see. How do you dream naturism to evolve? How would a perfect world for naturism, what would it look like?
First of all, COVID free.
Definitely.
No.
Otherwise, you get a 10 line.
No 10 lines except on your face.
Yeah. Like more young people indeed, because we also find it real strange that young people nowadays, like our own children, they are really like ashamed, or not ashamed, but it's they are not feeling comfortable with expressing who they are in a way of their bodies, and it's a shame. So it should be more like being normal, that people are like they are. And
I think it's also the fact that the publicity world is making perfect people and showing perfect people, so our children don't feel comfortable with their own body when they see only perfect bodies on television, social media, whatever. I think that problem is bigger than 20, 30 years ago, when we were growing.
Well, maybe. I also find it very important that, like, Naturism gets out of the taboo, because it still is a taboo for a lot of people, and also that it has nothing to do with sexuality. And a lot of people, when you tell them we are naturists, they immediately think about sex, like a body is only sex when it's naked, and it's nothing like that. And that's something I think it would be really important that everyone can see it like that. Not everyone has to be a naturist, but that people can see that a body not necessarily is all about sex, that it is just a package of someone and nothing more. So that's one of the most important things for me personally.
So what's need to be done? Do you have like, okay, we need to do this and this and this, and then maybe we can make naturism more acceptable?
Being open-minded, and like all the problems we sometimes experience with Facebook, that you have to cover up everything, even if you can't see anything at all. But they allow pictures from people who are shut down, or videos, something like that. But the most natural things are not accepted. And that's not that it has to be like porn or something like that, but it's like a hunt for
It has to be normal.
Yeah, it's still, the taboo is still there, and it's in a way it's curious that people can talk to their friends and their family, that they spend lots of money on vacations, that they take an airplane to the other side of the world for a weekend away, but when they go on a naked holiday, nobody talks about it. It's a weird thing, but it's something we have to get rid of, and I think all of us are fighting for more exposure.
Yeah, absolutely. and
that's
it's a bit of a weird way of saying, but it's for more exposure.
More exposure, yeah.
It's your mission, and you are doing a great job doing that. So we just can encourage that by joining this interview.
How do we say that in English? They are more or less crucifiers.
Yeah, crucifiers. Naturism.
Okay, we need to think about that, but
you're also a kind of Michelin guide. You do so much for naturism. We are very glad with that.
Yeah, we do what we can, and absolutely, we still have a long way, that's for sure. But from our opinion, we think that it's growing, and it's growing in different directions. I think we need to step away from the old-fashioned naturist who has a card and has a bracelet and be approved by 550 people in the board that you are a real naturist. I think that we need to step away from that. But naturism is evolving in so many different ways. And if we can embrace that, then we are on a good way.
Definitely.
I think.
Yeah.
So we have been talking for more than 50 minutes. If there are any questions, now is the time to put them in the chat.
We have a good question.
And we do have a very good question.
From Philip, or the iPhone from Philip. Do you guys still offer Belgian beers at the resort?
Yes, of course, Philip. We think we know who it is. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
That's good.
So another question from our...
We won't tell what beers that can be this.
They have to discover it here.
Discover it here. Yeah.
So Lavinia is open, I think, 8 or 10 months a year.
We always want to have a longer season, but that was a bit difficult because there can be cold nights in December and January, sometimes even in February. But we are now doing some reform works with a covered terrace with a new kitchen. So we will have the possibility to have a longer season, but always taking care of ourselves that we take enough rest, because the season cannot be endless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We often get the question, what do naturists do in winter? And then we say, we put on clothes. But now we're going to pass the question, what do naturist resort owners do in winter?
Preparing the next season. And this year is such a weird year, so we are continuously thinking new ideas to try to get people to here, even when they are not allowed to travel. People who live here, that kind of things. Working on translations of our websites, new photos, exploring things. We don't have any spare time.
Yeah, but I think meant
clothing wise.
Clothing wise.
No.
You can answer the question in any way you want.
Okay.
We have a couple of minutes left. I would say now is a great time for some guerrilla marketing. What would you still like, guerrilla marketing? What would you still like to share about Lavinia?
We would like to invite people to see at our website, because in this time of COVID, we have some Q&As that are responding how people can spend their holidays over here, even in this transition year of COVID, that they can hopefully feel safe enough to travel to here and explore some relief from the hard months that they had in the past year. So you really should check out our website.
We do almost everything we can to avoid contamination, but always in mind that guests are also on holiday. So we are looking for a balance between comfort and avoiding COVID.
And we might do some nice promotions.
Yeah.
In the following next days. So you should check our website.
Yeah, we invite everyone to check out our website. The coming days, we do beautiful promotions. And with that, you have a lot of lecture with our website, a movie, photos. So it's fun reading and looking at.
While you are locked home from COVID, you can amuse yourself.
After you watch this very informative video, of course.
Of course, in the first place.
So shortly summarized, the weather is great in Spain.
Yeah.
It's very safe to go to Lavinia, and there are promotions.
So all you need is a negative COVID test, and you're ready to go.
Let's go.
Before we finish this talk, before we say goodbye, there are a couple of things that we would still like to mention. And those are, we have a lot of other sessions coming up. Next week, we have Grotta Miranda from Italy.
I saw they were also in this session. So hi, Pierre.
Hi, Pierre.
The week after, we talk across the ocean with Rolf and Cynthia from Arroyo del Sol in California.
Yeah.
And just confirmed before we started the session is Quinta do Amaral in Portugal, which is the first week of January, the first Thursday of February.
Yeah, which is really cool because they're a young couple and they just opened a Naturist campsite.
They're all going to be great sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. All of them, of course. Yeah.
And of course, we definitely want to tell you again, we can only do these things because we get lots and lots of support on Patreon. It's growing to be a great community. And there's lots of behind the scenes content from us that you get in return. So if you would like to support this, if you would like to support these sessions or anything else we do for Naturism, check out patreon.com/nakedwanderings.
And if you are in this session or you're watching this session and you are already a Patreon, thank you guys. You're awesome.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. There's lots and lots more where this is coming from.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. It was great.
This was it.
Yes, it was really, really lovely.
It was fun.
It was amazing, like the Canadians
It was
say.
amazing.
Super pleasant.
Super pleasant, yeah. For all the Dutch people looking.
Thank you very much for being here. We hope that you had a great time. We had a great time.
Yeah.
And if you want to watch yourself again, or if anybody else wants to watch this session again, as of tonight or tomorrow morning, it will be on YouTube.
Yeah, that's for
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's stay in
And
touch. Thank you, everybody.
Lavinia.
See you.
Bye-bye. Bye.